What's going on? First of all, how are you doing? How's your family? Quarantine, all the stuff that's
Yes.
on in 2020. Are you safe? Everyone safe?
Yeah, everyone's safe. My mom has actually moved in with me this year.
Okay.
So it's great, but also going a little crazy.
Uh, how is
but
how,
um,
how's
but
it?
it's nice to know that we're all safe together and everything.
Okay. How is it living with moms? It's probably been a minute, right?
Yes, I moved out at a young age, so it's been a while. She was living in Vegas for a while, so we weren't even close to each other for about 10 years.
Wow.
So now we're very close to each other.
Moved out at a young age. Is it because you got into like television and you started working? Is that how you moved out? How did you get into television?
So I moved out I first moved out when I was like 17,
Mhm.
and it was because I was already working. I had a job at a real estate company. I was already pursuing music, and I actually lived with a boyfriend at the time. Way
Okay.
too young to be living with a boyfriend. I will let all young ladies know.
Uh-huh.
So that didn't work out, and then I moved back in with my mom for a short period of time, and
Hmm.
then I was always pursuing music and acting since a very young age. And when I moved back in with my mom for that short period of time, I happened to meet Rob Deerdeck around then, and
Yeah.
he asked me to be on Fantasy Factory, and then that led to Ridiculousness, and like the rest is history.
No, you mentioned music. You're signed.
Yeah.
Uh, you're signed to Lil Wayne's.
Well, not anymore. I used to be affiliated with Young Money, but I'm
Okay.
fully independent now.
Hey, independent, like, and that's what's so funny is that like artists you hear, whether you're signed with a group or independent, there's so many great ways to go. How does it feel to be independent, having a little bit more control over your music and what you're doing? Is that do you get a benefit from being independent that way?
For sure. I feel like there's more freedom in what I do creatively and more freedom in when I drop the records. I'm with EQ Distribution. So they're
Okay.
my distribution label, but I pay for everything myself. I'm fully funding myself. They're basically the ones who help me get the music out. And that's what's great is they're able to get the music out fast. So
Okay.
sometimes, for example, it's a sad situation to bring up, but I had a friend who she passed away, and it was actually around the same time as Kobe. And I had an amazing song that I wrote about my friend passing away, and Kobe had just passed away. And I was like, we got to get this song out right now. It has such great meaning. It's the
Yeah.
perfect time. And so, like, they were able to help me get that song right out
Oh,
immediately, and
yeah.
that's usually something you can't do with a major label. It's a much longer process. You got to go through like months of trying to like get everything together to make a release.
Who has been your favorite guest and who has been a guest when you're just like, eh, just just why, right? Like
um,
people like to mess with people. So it's just like sometimes, they'll pick on the lady, they'll mess with individuals. But who's been your favorite guest? Who's been your one that you're like, we can go a couple more seasons without ever having them?
well, I really don't want to diss anybody.
Huh?
I say this all the time. Like Snoop was definitely one of my favorite guests. Snoop is so funny and just like, it's like it's Snoop. You know what I mean? Like, and I had already worked with Snoop in the studio before, so it was cool to like already have like a personal connection with him. And I just think Snoop, he's so funny, so he's just like naturally like a great guest for our type of show. And I'm not gonna lie, there's been a couple people where I was like, who is this person? I don't know what like Instagram type people or something. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but whatever, like they're a
Whatever.
guest.
Yeah. What I do want to talk about though is you are a big time sports fan. You're a big time Lakers fan. Uh,
Yes.
I know we ask these questions to everyone. We always have like, okay, so if you're a Laker fan in this era, is Kobe Bryant your favorite Laker of all time?
I mean, obviously,
Okay,
like
okay,
Kobe is LA.
yeah,
It's funny because I went to school with Jordan Farmer,
okay.
and I was a cheerleader actually when he played in high school with me.
You went to
And uh,
Taft? Taft?
yeah, I went to Taft.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I remember Jordy. I just know Jordy through the way, so I was like, yeah, he went to Taft High School. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. And so I was a varsity cheerleader when he was on varsity basketball. And it's so funny because I actually went to middle school with Jordan also.
Uh,
And it was funny because I really wanted to tell Kobe this story. And he was like, I like kind of like impressed or shocked. And I was like, yeah, like in middle school, Jordan would wear Kobe's jersey all the time. He
yeah.
lived in that damn jersey. And I was
Hmm.
like, yo, it's so crazy to like go from watching him wear the jersey in middle school to like playing with you. And Kobe was like, he used to wear that jersey like that. Like he was like, oh I was like, I don't know if they had some little beef or something behind the scenes, but like he was
What?
like, whoa. He was like,
No.
that's crazy to hear, you know?
So weird. Like you go from being a fan very quickly. Like my rookie year, like I was born in LA, love Magic Johnson, love the Lakers. Then
Yeah.
my year with the Nets, I lose to the Lakers in the finals, and I'm like, screw Lakers, screw Kobe. I hate those dudes. But it was like, you know, 6 months prior, I was like, who's your favorite team? Lakers are my favorite team.
Yeah.
Finals. But that's what's so cool, man. Now, like going back and looking at guys like Jordan who grew up in LA, go to UCLA, and all of a sudden they get drafted by the Lakers, and it was like, man, I used to wear a Kobe jersey like
Yeah.
every. Now I'm playing in the finals with Kobe.
No,
Um,
but you know what's crazy though? Even though I am a Lakers fan, so my dad's from New York, and my
okay.
dad lives in Jersey. So my dad's actually a big Nets fan. Like I've went to more Nets basketball games actually, I think, than any other team. So like I have the little what's the little mascot guy? I got like little toys of that from when I was
Oh
a
yeah.
kid.
Oh yeah. As you should, man. Like, look, you're of the age where the Nets weren't that bad when you were kind of growing. It got a little bit better.
My dad was always going hard for them.
Okay, good. All right. Well, then tell me this. You still you say so? You think Snoop was your favorite guest on Ridiculousness?
Snoop and uh, Mac Miller, rest in peace. Mac was hilarious. We had him on twice because he was so funny, and he same thing. He was just like it was almost like just a friend chilling on set. Like he's just so like natural. Like you don't feel like it's like a guest in that moment. He's just like a homie having fun with you. You know.
What is your favorite like song on the album and why?
It's very tough. I would say I don't really know. It's so hard because I have a few different favorites. I mean, for different reasons. Like White Picket Fence, I love that one because I feel like I was able to really like tell my story on that song and let people get to know me much more. So I like that song for that. My song 4 a.m. I It's a love song and I'm basically like really, just saying what I had to say to my ex. So I love that one. And then I got a song called 40 Yard Dash,
Uh-huh.
which I really love because I love football, I love sports, and I think that it's gonna be like probably one of the coolest music videos that I'm in the process of working on. So
That's
I'm
right.
really excited for that one. Yeah.
What's something that you would tell yourself 10 years prior, that you would tell yourself like today? If you could go back in 10 years and give yourself some advice, what would it be?
Um, Probably two things. One, don't focus on relationships so much and get distracted by guys.
Uh-huh.
Because there's been just a little bit of controllingness, I guess you could say, in the past, and that will definitely hold you back.
Okay.
And another thing I would say is to just not rush things. Timing is everything. In the past, the more I was rushing and stressed, the less success I saw. And the more I got a little bit calmer and relaxed and was just like put the timing in God's hands, the more things kind of just started to fall into place. So I think it's really about patience and just you can't rush things. You got to make sure that everything is right. It's all about just the right timing. It's not about rushing it. It's not about beating other people or defeating other people. Like it's about focusing just on yourself and making the best product, because I think a lot of the times that's a big mistake that all artists make is they rush and like maybe there's 2 hits on the album and then the rest of the album is like whatever. You know what I mean?
So, if you had to pick like what kind of, not want to say goals, but just like where you want to kind of keep pushing yourself towards in the next like decade. Let's talk about 2020 is shitty. So what are we gonna do between 2020 and 2030?
Definitely drop tons more music. My goal is to put out I want to put out a few more albums.
Mm,
I'm trying to get to the Grammys. That's a big goal for me, is to work my way to performing on that stage.
mm.
And I have a clothing line that I would love to see grow and expand to a much bigger thing. I don't want it to be as much like a merch line where it's just about this is Chanel's clothing. Like I want it to become like more a brand of its own and expand outside of just being my thing.
Mhm.
So that's a big goal for me as well. And really, I'm trying to find Mr. Right. If you know anybody, if you know any single bachelors, send them my way.
God,
And I think that that's an important thing to me too, because I have focused so much on my music and working over the past 10 years.
Mm.
I didn't focus enough, I think, on finding the right person. So
Yeah.
if there's a guy out there that's interested, say what's up.